Okay, to get out of the box, we really got to understand the box. Got to know the box. We got to love the box. So, what is the box? Okay, well, up front, I think we all recognize that there are actually two boxes. Okay, so I'm going to go over them one at a time, with the first being box one. Okay, here's the mystical, magical pattern that we all love and recognize. All right, we'll call it box one. It's the primary box, it's the holy grail of all boxes. Every player from Muddy Waters to Yngwie Malmsteen and everybody in between has used this box, these patterns of notes. All right, so how did we wind up with this box pattern? Where exactly did it come from? I mean, was it just that somebody discovered this and came up with some cool licks and it got popular? Forgive my Jimmy Page riff there, but it's probably not right. I don't have the music to reference it to, but you get the point that people started playing these patterns and they all started developing a lot of repetition. I mean, Eric Clapton made a living out of these patterns, and that's how the box grew in fame and infamy. All right, but okay, how do you use it and where does the box come from? All right. All right, here in the next picture, you see what's familiar to us as the E form bar chord. All right, played in any position, gives you a major chord. All right, and you also see that I got the notes thrown in there along with the box pattern number one. All right, but notice when you switch back and forth between that picture and the one with just the notes, that something stands out. Okay, what stands out is the stuff that's on the D string, or I'm sorry, stuff that's on the G string. The yellow note actually isn't in the pattern. Okay, so if you look at the next picture, well, there you go. That's really kind of the chord form that it should be played over, because we're talking minor pentatonic, so this is a minor chord. All right. The white dot obviously is the root out on the E string. And then you have an E minor form bar chord, all right, with the rest of the red dots. Well, can you play it over top of the E form bar chord, with the yellow dot? Yeah, sure. This is rock and roll. There's no hard line rules really. It's all good. Play it anywhere you want. But this is the main pattern, the main box. Okay? So where did that come from? We now know that, this chord plays inside of that box, but is that where it comes from? Is that how all this develops? Okay, don't freak. Here we go. Alright, this is where the pattern comes from. Alright, first off, note the one that's in the red circle. It says that this note's in pattern 2 of the major patterns. Just kind of put your thumb over that or something for a second, if you will. Block it out, and then look how symmetrical all the notes actually are, whether they're red or green. Okay, that's pattern 1 from the major scales. All right. If you happen, or pattern 1, the way I've taught the patterns of the major scales, if you happen to put that pattern over top of where you would normally play pattern 1 of the pentatonic minor scales, okay, it fits perfect, and that's where it comes from. It comes out of the Dorian scale. That's about all I'm going to say about that until part 3. All right? So what's that do for you? Look, you got all them extra notes. You can also recognize the notes that are played on the low E string and the low A string that are played in what's represented as the 2nd fret there, as the pattern extension, how you can get out of the box and go down a couple of notes and come back up and all that. And then if I were to put up pattern 2 of the major scales and do all that, you'd find the B.B. King extensions in the next one. All right, so that's really where this stuff comes from. All right, it's coming out of the Dorian scale. The pentatonic minor stuff if you laid it out like this and compared all the notes, all the positions come out of the Dorian scale. All right. So that's box pattern number one, the Holy Grail, the one that everybody knows and lives and breathes by. Okay. All right, but I did say there's two patterns, right? So let's go ahead and put up pattern number two. All right, you should recognize that one also. All right, that's pattern number two. Actually, in the pentatonic minors, the way I've taught it, that's pattern number four. This is the second box. Okay, so let me flip over to where most people think it comes from, and that's, you usually use this pattern when you're playing an A form bar chord. So you got the white dot as your root, and then once again we got an out of place note there. You can look, that's an A form bar chord, right? You generally wouldn't play the red dot on the high E string unless you fret it to where you could, and that's an extra fifth if you did it that way. But those are the notes of an A form bar chord. Once again we got an oddball, we got a yellow note. All right, so compare those for a second. Right? Well, it actually comes out of, ta-da, the A minor form bar chord is really where this stuff comes from. All right? So you can recognize that pretty readily. The white dot's the root on the A string, and there you got a minor form bar chord. Move that around to wherever you want based on that white dot root, and you're playing whatever minor form bar chord. Did that by flat and a 3. That yellow dot was a third. We moved it back a fret, and it's flat 3. It's minor, because we're talking minor pentatonics. But once again, if you're just playing either power chords or the full A form bar chord, can you play those patterns over top of it? You bet. Okay, this is rock and roll, right? All right, so where did that come from? Well, I've already kind of given that away in the first box. But here's the pattern. That pattern, minor pentatonic pattern number 4, all right, which is basically what goes over the A minor form bar chord, comes from pattern 5 of the major scale patterns. All right, and once again I've circled a couple of notes there at the end that actually come into play with the next pattern 6. Okay, but they go with the minor pentatonic. Okay, just real quick. All right, we've got the Holy Grail pattern. It goes to the E form bar chord. I'm going to put up here a D, the 10th fret, because that's what we're going to do Feel Like Making Love in part 2. And an A form bar chord up here at the 5th fret. Okay, you're supposed to play it this way. Okay, with the little differences. I just want to clarify real quick that, like many people do, they take the Holy Grail pattern, it's supposed to be over an E, and put it over the A pattern. And without going into depth why, is that okay? Yeah, it is okay, and it will sound okay. You're not playing pentatonic minor anymore, because you're putting back a couple of 2s and 6s doing that. I'm not even going to show you where. But the reason being, if you look at pattern 5 of the major scale, that makes all this Dorian junk here for this pattern. Okay, it's also got those other notes in there. It's got this note. Okay, instead of this, it's got both of them. Okay, so that's why. So you're just playing Dorian when you're doing that, as opposed to playing truly pentatonic minor, which is why Dorian's probably the most played of the modes, and people don't even know it. Okay, love you later, bye.